When Dakota Johnson stepped onto the red carpet this week in a show-stopping sheer gown, the cameras practically exploded. The 35-year-old 50 Shades actress, who has long been admired for her mix of effortless cool and understated glamour, pushed boundaries in a dress that was anything but subtle, a transparent, beaded bodice with no bra in sight, leaving her chest visible beneath the fabric. The look immediately went viral, igniting both admiration and backlash in equal measure. While some celebrated Johnson's boldness as a form of empowerment and artistic expression, others accused her of deliberately courting cheap attention, a phrase that quickly trended online as social media lit up with heated debates. But through all the chatter, her longtime partner Chris Martin has remained steady, supportive, and entirely unfazed. The look that sparked a storm. Johnson's gown, designed by a leading couture house, featured delicate embroidery across the sheer fabric, paired with a flowing, ethereal skirt that contrasted the daring top half. She wore her hair pulled back in a sleek style, keeping jewelry to a minimum, which only emphasized the fearless simplicity of the braless look. Fashion insiders immediately hailed the outfit as one of the most striking red carpet appearances of the year. Dakota has always had an instinct for subtle rebellion in her fashion, one stylist commented. She's not trying to shock for the sake of it. She's reminding people that confidence and elegance aren't mutually exclusive. Praise and backlash. The internet, however, had its own ideas. Supporters rushed to defend Johnson, calling the gown fearless, art, and refreshing statement in a world still full of double standards. One viral tweet read, "If Harry Styles wears see-through lace, it's fashion. If Dakota Johnson does it, suddenly it's cheap attention? Please." But detractors were equally vocal. Critics argued that the look was unnecessarily provocative and overshadowed her acting achievements. "She doesn't need to stoop this low," one commenter wrote on Instagram. "This is just cheap attention." Chris Martin's quiet response. Through it all, Chris Martin, the 48-year-old Coldplay frontman and Johnson's partner of nearly 8 years, has remained remarkably relaxed. According to close friends, Martin laughed off the controversy and continues to support Johnson fully. Chris is not fazed at all, one insider told Entertainment Reporters. He loves that Dakota is fearless. He respects that she dresses for herself, not for validation, and he admires her confidence. He's been in the global spotlight long enough to know these storms come and go. Those close to him say Martin views the uproar with a kind of bemused detachment. He actually finds it amusing that people are so worked up over a dress, another source shared. For him, Dakota is one of the most talented, intelligent, and grounded people he knows. No outfit could ever overshadow that. Fashion world reaction. Within the fashion industry, Johnson's daring gown has been widely praised as part of a larger trend. Sheer, braless looks have dominated recent red carpets, worn by stars like Florence Pugh, Zendaya, and Rihanna. Designers argue that such outfits are less about shock value and more about redefining femininity, confidence, and control. Dakota's gown wasn't about being risque, explained one fashion critic. It was about strength. The sheer fabric forces people to confront their discomfort with the female body while also showcasing artistry and design. The backlash says more about society than it does about her. Dakota's silence speaks volumes. Notably, Johnson herself has not commented on the controversy. Known for her dry wit and private nature, the actress often avoids engaging with online drama. Instead, she's been focusing on her upcoming film projects, including both indie features and major studio releases, as well as her growing role as a producer. Her silence hasn't stopped fans from interpreting the move as a deliberate statement. "Dakota doesn't need to clap back," one admirer tweeted. "Her presence, her career, and her choices already do the talking." Life in the spotlight. For Martin and Johnson, this is hardly the first time public scrutiny has circled their relationship. Since they began dating in 2017, the couple has faced endless speculation, from engagement rumors to breakup whispers. Yet through it all, they have maintained a low-key dynamic, rarely discussing their romance publicly, but often spotted supporting each other's careers. Martin, who has spent more than 2 decades fronting one of the biggest bands in the world, is no stranger to public opinion swings. For him, critics' chatter is simply background noise. Chris has always been zen about fame, says a longtime acquaintance. He picks his battles. A red carpet dress? That's not one of them. Bigger than a dress. Ultimately, the frenzy surrounding Johnson's gown reveals something larger about culture today. The clash of praise and criticism reflects ongoing tensions around female expression, body autonomy, and the policing of women's choices in the public eye. Every time a woman wears something daring, we see the same cycle, noted a social commentator. Some hail it as empowering, others dismiss it as attention-seeking. But rarely do we step back and ask why women's bodies are still seen as public property open for debate. A couple unshaken. As the dust settles, Johnson and Martin remain focused on what matters most: their work, their relationship, and their shared support for one another. Coldplay is gearing up for the next leg of its global tour, while Johnson continues to carve out her space in Hollywood as both actress and producer. Those close to the couple say the uproar has done nothing to shake them. If anything, it's reinforced the bond that has kept them together for nearly a decade. Chris is her biggest cheerleader, a friend emphasized. He admires her courage, her artistry, and her refusal to be boxed in. And Dakota loves that he gives her the space to be exactly who she is. In the end, the message is clear. Dakota Johnson will continue to own the red carpet on her own terms, and Chris Martin will be right there beside her, calm, supportive, and utterly unfazed by the world's noisy opinions.